Greetings from Elite English Academy. Dear friends, welcome to the SCERT exam preparation series. This video lesson is useful not only for competitive exam preparation but also for the literature students because this particular work is prescribed in the syllabus of many universities and colleges. So first let me explain the title. A Valediction, Forbidding Mourning. So valediction means farewell, forbidding, preventing or stopping, mourning, feeling sad or observing a mourning for somebody's departure or death. So this particular poem has a very interesting context. So that is the writer tries to convince his wife not to cry for some reason. What is that? So this poem is a typical metaphysical poem. So dear friends, stay tuned and share this among your friends also. First, let me introduce the author, John Donne. He lived from 1572 to 1631. Basically, he is an English poet, scholar, soldier, and secretary. He caused the Catholic revival in England. So, this is a very important thing because in a country so where people followed by law, so Church of England, he was the one who advocated for Catholic faith in England. So that is the reason why it is said he caused the Catholic revival in England. At one point, he reluctantly became a cleric in the Church of England. So no other go, he was forced to do that because of the situation. Then he became the Dean of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. So he served there as Dean between 1621 to 1631. He considered the preeminent representative of the metaphysical poets. Actually, he is the one, he preceded the metaphysical poets. His consisted, or his poems were known for metaphysical things. He is the pioneer of metaphysical poets, we can say. He is noted for their metaphysical and sensual style, and he wrote sonnets, love poems, religious Latin translations, epigrams, elegies, songs, and satires. So, on the whole, John Donne is the one who is standing away from other metaphysical poets because he is the pioneer, and also his poem has the great quality of that. So before we enter into the further textual analysis and further information about metaphysical poetry, it is very important to note what is metaphysical poetry. So the nature of metaphysical poetry is, so there will be far-fetched comparisons. So of course, the comparisons will be unusual. Regarding this particular poem, first let me give you the occasion. So Donne once he happened to go to France with his friend Sir Robert Drury, whereas it is not liked by his wife. So she cries. So here the entire poem is in a comforting tone. So he tries to convince his wife why she should not cry on his departure. So the theme of the poem. So the major theme is union of two lovers even when they are physically separated. So whereas the other sub themes are loyalty, lust, spirituality. So these are the themes. So regarding the rhyme scheme, so AB, AB, so that is the each stanza consists of four lines. So they have the theme, they have the rhyme scheme AB, AB. So these tributes are to be noted. So because Grierson, so a poet and critic, he says like this. So this poem, that is Valediction, Forbidding Mourning, is the tenderest of Donne's love poems. Coleridge praises the compass figure employed in this particular poem. Dr. Johnson is considering this poem as absurd and unnatural. So Dr. Johnson further says, so this is the particular definition. So the comment of Dr. Johnson on this particular poem, A Valediction Forbidding Mourning, became the definition of metaphysical poetry itself. So the most heterogeneous ideas are yoked by violence together. So here, why he says that yoked, so that is how joined together by violence, because so the comparisons are not natural, so they are deliberately kept together because of some reason. That's how he says. Now let me introduce the poem. As virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, while some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say no. So, as virtuous men pass mildly away. So, here, virtuous men, so people with good qualities, pass mildly away. Even when mildly away means it is just without making much noise or quietly. So actually, when people die, so the virtuous people, so the good people will not make any fuss. So just like that, so they will pass that occasion very mildly. So the poet requests the wife, as very virtuous men die away or without making any fuss when they leave, as they leave, and whisper to their souls to go. So even they just whisper, talk secretly. So as the virtuous people uh, mildly go, so they talk to their souls, so they whisper to their souls just without making any noise or fuss. While some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say no. Even some sad friends refers to unworthy friends. So that is the people who are afraid of death. So even the poet says the people who are afraid of death, so the people who are afraid of separation, they only will make noise. Whereas virtuous people, so they will not worry about anything, just they will pass such sad thing in a very mildly way. So here, indirectly, the poet asks the wife, do you really love me? If you are really virtuous, you should not cry on my separation. So the next one, so let's melt and make no noise, no tear floods, nor sigh tempests move. It were profanation of our joys to tell the laity, so our love. So the poet says, so let's melt. So here we can say melt means like virtuous people. So we have to just, we need not worry about. Let's melt here refers to let's think. So let's decide and make no noise. So, dear wife, we should not make any noise. We should not cry on our separation. No tear floods. It is an exaggeration, right? So, don't cry. So, don't shed tears unnecessarily. So, right, it can be considered as a metaphor. No tear floods. So, this is the poetic device. So, metaphor. Nor sigh tempest move. Again, another extended metaphor. So when we cry, what happens? We take a deep breath. So that looks like a tempest. So the storm, right? So don't cry. Don't no storm and no flood. So it were profanation of our joy. So that is profanation means disruption. So dear wife, if you just cry, so what happens? It is a profanation. It is the disruption of our happiness. So if you cry, our happiness will be spoiled. To tell the laity our love. Laity. So here layman. So here the poet says, dear wife, so let's decide like this. so will not make any noise on my separation. So no tear floods, no sighing tempest. So it will be bad. So laity means common people, layman. So it is bad if we cry because we will send a wrong message about our love. Because if we are really virtuous, we will not cry. Are you virtuous or not? He asked the question to his own wife. Now let's move to the next stanza. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears. Men reckon what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spears, though greater far, is innocent. Now here the knowledge of physics by John Donne is expressed here. Moving of the earth refers to earthquake. So brings harms and fears. Of course, we know what can earthquake bring to this world. So people are afraid of the consequences of any earthquake. Men reckon what it did. So men were afraid of so what an earthquake can do to this and meant so what it can cause. But trepidation of this space. Trepidation means it is movement. So movement of the space. Space here he goes to the heavenly body. Though greater far is innocent. But here indirectly he conveys. So people are afraid of the earthly movement. So the earthquake. But our love is something beyond that. So something heavenly. We should not be worried about what is happening in the earth. We should not be carried away by all the earthly love. That's how he says. Dull, sublunary lovers love, whose soulless sense cannot admit absence because it does remove those things which elemented it. So now he compares his love to earthly thing. Sublunary. So lunar means moon. Sublunary refers to, so it is sublunary refers to earth. So our love seems to be, see, if you cry, so he says, so our love is earthly. So whose soul is sense? So here you are thinking from your brain's point of view. So your mind's point of view. So it is not soulful. If you truly love me, that means you will not cry like this. Cannot admit absence because you cannot admit my absence. You are giving unnecessary fuss to my absence because it does remove those things which elemented it. So elemented it means part of it. So here the poet very clearly indicates that. So dear wife, if you cry on my departure, that you prove our love is not heavenly, whereas you prove that our love is earthly like others' love. So don't worry. So because our love is heavenly, that's what indirectly he is trying to advocate. But we, by a love so much refined. So he says that our love is refined, that ourselves know not what it is. So he goes to the extent of saying that so our love is something matured. So even we ourselves do not know what kind of maturity it has achieved. Interassured of the mind, cares less, eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Actually, he tries to convey that our love has transcended the earthly thing, especially if we are together. So we may kiss each other, so we may look at each other's eyes, we may have our hands at working at each other. Whereas if we are not available, so if we are not physically present, we may miss these eyes, lips, hands. At the same time, our love is not like that. Our love is beyond the physical presence. So here, this is the line. So this is the stanza in which the poet argues that. So our love is matured. Our love goes beyond earthly thing. So dear wife, you should not make any fuss or you should not cry on my departure. Then our two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion like gold to airy thinness beat. So here another beautiful another beautiful comparison is made. Our two souls, therefore, which are one. So, dear wife, we are not two persons. We are the one soul. So, as the Christian marriage declares, so hereafter they will not be two persons, but one person. Like that, the poet says, dear wife, we are not two souls, but one soul. Though I must go, endure not yet a breach. So, dear wife, though I have to go, so please understand. So, you endure it, you withstand it, endure not yet a breach. It is not a breach of conduct. So, breach means just we say security breach. So, like that, it is not a breach, it is not wrong, but an expansion. So when I get separated temporarily from you, it is not a breach, it is not a problem. It is an expansion of our love. How? Like gold to airy thinness beat. So here he says, just according to science, it goes like this. One, uh, one small ounce of gold can be extended to 250 square feet. I hope you get my point. So gold, 1 ounce of gold, the small quantity of gold can be extended or expanded to 250 square feet of gold. Like that, the poet, so it is an open comparison. The poet says that though we are physically separated, though we are not together, there is a thin air of love between us. So, the thinness of the gold. So, he compares the love, invisible love that they possess between each other. So, that is like the gold, so that can be extended or that can be expanded. So, to conclude this particular stanza, the poet tries to convey that, so dear love, so though we are physically separated, we are together at soul, number one. Number two, like the thinness of gold. So though I may go to France, you may be in England, so both of us are connected by the gold, thinness of gold. If they be two, they are two so as stiff twin compasses are two. Actually, this is the metaphor. So that is widely quoted, appreciated by the many critics. So if they be two, they are two so as stiff twin compasses are two. So he compares himself and his wife to the two legs of the compass. You know, the compass used by the sailors. So it will be like this. So there will be 2 foot. So it will show, right? It will show the direction, east, north, south, like that, right? So there will be a center point. So thy soul, the fixed foot, makes no show to move, but does if the other do. Very beautifully said. So he compares their love so to a compass foot. So he says here his wife is the center point. So that is the family is the center point. So here fixed foot refers to it is the wife whose soul is steady, whose love is steady. So the compass, though it goes anywhere within that, so at one point it has to come to the center because it is fixed in the center. So look at the lines now. If they be two, they are two so as stiff twin compasses are two. Thy soul, the fixed foot, makes no show to move, but does if the other do. So here the family is given more importance by the writer, because if he says, though I am moving around the world, though I am going away from you temporarily, my life is fixed nearby in you. So you are the fixed foot of the compass. So I will come back anyhow. Wherever I go, I have to come back because your soul is more powerful. Your love is more powerful. And though it in the center sit, yet when the other far does roam, it leans and hearkens after it. Hearkens means listen, and grows erect as that comes home. So here this stanza is an expansion of the previous stanza, because this is the place where he said, okay, you are the one who is sitting in the center, so at household. Yet when the other, so the other refers to whom? So the poet John Donne himself, center, so it is compared to his wife. So Rome moving around, it leans and hearkens after it. So here, so the household person is looking. So dear wife, you are just observing me and grows erect at that comes home. So when you need, so the other one will come. That means, dear wife, though you are at home with your love, you are superior. So whenever there is a need, whenever you look for me, so I will come back to you because you are the one who is the center of the family. So this is the last stanza. Such wilt thou be to me, who must, like the other foot, obliquely run. Thy firmness makes my circle just and makes me end where I began. So the last three stanzas are explaining the same imagery and the same, so the same metaphor is explained further. Such wilt become a friend. So you are the one who is dear to me, closer to me. Who must then, if you are not, who will be? Like other foot. So the other foot of the compass. Obliquely run. So obliquely means riding sideways, so in a different manner. So the compass may run in different manner. So but thy firmness, so thy refers to the poet's wife. Thy firmness makes my circle just. So here the poet gives the tribute to the wife. So it is because of you I am just. Just means I am honest, right? So my circle just and makes me end where I began. So wherever I go, so because of you, my dear wife, I just stop, I just come back to you. So in the right place, because you are the center of my life, you are my life itself. So with that, the particular lines get over. So if you take the rhyme scheme, AB, AB, and iambic tetrameter or pentameter are used. Iambic tetrameter, so here 4 foot, so there is 8 syllables will be there. Pentameter, 10 syllables, so 5 foot will be there. So just a small analysis of the rhyme scheme here. So there is a foot of the line. So let me just think. So here, what is iambic tetrameter? So it is a line, so having 4 metrical feet. So one unstressed syllable will be followed by stressed syllable. For example, here, if so, what you find on the screen is just the transcription of these lines. So what happens? One syllable is equal to, so one vowel sound in a particular part of the sentence. So unstressed syllable. So we call it like that. Da, dum, da, dum, like that. So it goes like that. So one unstressed syllable, one stressed syllable, one unstressed syllable, one stressed syllable. Like that, 4 metrical feet are available in this particular first line of the poem. Dear friends, to revise this particular poem, John Donne's A Valediction Forbidden Mourning. So it was first published in 1611. So it is a speech made by the poet. So when he was parting from the wife temporarily to France. So this is very famous because of different imageries used by the poet, especially the compass imagery is something extraordinary, something unusual. So this poem is the epitome of metaphysical poetry. Thank you. All the very best.